I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, AfterBuzzers, to the Grace and Frankie After Show. We're talking episodes 12 and 13. It's the season finale. I'm your host, Carla, and I'm joined by my amazing panel. To my left, I have a James Fonda superfan, Emily May.
Hey, everyone.
We have a voiceover actress, Kitty Kaboom.
Hey, Mama, how are you?
Good, and you? How are you, ladies?
Hey,
We're
great.
good.
I'm great.
It's Thursday. I'm ready for the weekend. It's the Grace and Frankie finale. I couldn't be more mind blown. So much happened. We're going to be talking about Nick's beef with Keven, Robert trying to make his $20K back, Brianna proposing, and Nick gets arrested, everyone. But before we do all of that, what are some of our overall thoughts, ladies?
You know, I have enjoyed, I don't even think there was an episode I didn't enjoy this season. Every episode really just continued to surprise me. The writing on the show is really fantastic. The one-liners for Gracie and
Frankie.
Grace and Frankie, and just all of, like, Brianna has some really amazing lines. Every time I turn it on, I enjoy it.
I agree.
She stole my thunder. That's what I was going to focus on. I'm just kidding. I do. I love the writing. I absolutely, the comedic elements of this show are so well done. And I think the person the biggest fan of Jane Fonda, yes, and Lily Tomlin, come on, goes without question. I remember when she was a little girl, or she played a little girl on the couch on SNL. So she was great. I always wanted to know that. But that's not what I love. But there's another character whom he's come so far, and I hate that I don't know his name in real life. But Saul.
Oh, yes.
The fact that this man is on a Harley, he's adopted this whole persona, and he's a gay man on the show when in real life he's done so many roles where he's like a man's man that is so refreshing to see him kind of play the opposite of what he's always been known for.
Yeah, I mean, Martin Sheen, who plays Robert, like, I just keep seeing him as the president in the West Wing. So this is like completely opposite.
His name is Sam Waterston.
Sam Waterston. Thank you. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And he does such great work. So I really like seeing this element of him because I can't think of another role he's done that is anything like this.
I absolutely agree. Everyone on this cast is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us back to Tuesday's News and Gossip. It's the longest running show on Netflix, and you can see why.
I was about to say it just makes sense.
It's brilliant.
It really is. The casting from the beginning was so smart. I was like, what? They all agreed to do this together? This is a great, and the premise, come on.
I mean, even in the guest stars where they're only on for
Yes!
a few episodes,
Yes!
they're also incredible as well.
My favorite was RuPaul, for the record.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it, ladies. So in these two episodes, we see that that Nick and Grace are having a problem because he doesn't want her to do a business deal with Keven because they have prior beef with each other.
Right, and he won't get into it.
He's really hyping it up. Like that he did him dirty.
Right.
Whatever happened must have been awful.
Awful.
So in Grace, would you, if you were in Grace's position, have made the choice she made?
When you know what it was that convinced her that this was the best way to go, and it just makes sense that he would, is to say, everything is about Frankie. I understood going into this that I was going to have to make some concessions for Frankie because she is your other half, and I'm clearly married to both of you, and that's fine. But I would like for just one time for you to back me up as my wife, and that's what got her, and that's probably what would have gotten me as well. I'm not going to front, though. I would not have given in to just, okay, if you say so, husband. I need to something, like, if I'm going to throw this away for that's 20% of the vote.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the way I see it, I'm kind of the opposite. Where if I was Grace, I would want to have backup. I would want to talk to Nick and say, hey, you need to tell me exactly what happened before I agree to anything. Because these last few episodes, they've been all trying to work on their communication and trying to be more open about what Grace is going through.
Really, though?
Are they really, though?
We know they're not.
But it sounds good.
What Grace is going through, what Nick's what everyone's going through. And Grace should stand up for herself. And I know she always puts Frankie first in a lot of the situations they get into, but they're best friends, so she should. And I think that Nick was out of line when he asked her to not make this deal, when this was a huge step in building their business.
I think the part that made it complicated was the fact that Frankie is her best friend, but I feel like outside of that, you have to keep in mind that's also her business partner.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to
They're
think
both.
outside of just being friends, like
Friends.
what's gonna make us the money. It's like you're not really choosing your friend. I feel like you're choosing your business.
Yeah, that's exactly
And
right.
you're choosing yourself, and you're choosing your financial success. Like you're choosing. It's not. I feel like necessarily it wasn't about Nick, and he was, I think, really selfish for asking her to choose him in that sense. It's like I don't really see her getting involved in his business.
Exactly. So
And-
what difference does it make who I decide to sign on with? This is
Yeah.
not, you ain't got a nickel in this dime, bruh. What is you even putting your 2 cents in for anyway?
And it's not like she's like saying, "Hey, you made this business deal. Don't do this. Don't." She's not like.
That's
you
what she
like,
just
she's
said.
not-
She would never insert herself into his business.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And when Grace found out that Nick was working with Miriam, his ex-wife,
Yes.
she never once gave him a hard time. She was just like, "Oh,
Exactly.
it's cool."
It was that
She was like, let's
one-
have dinner and talk about this. Don't act like this didn't happen. You're both of y'all are being sneaky and shady. But she still sat down and allowed them to speak their piece and give her an explanation. And what, like you said, once everything was out on the table, it was like, okay, there's going to be some yelling and screaming, but we'll get past this. Like, I'm not opposed to it. I just would appreciate you having been honest with me about what it was.
It was like that one argument at dinner, and that was it. And so, and like, usually Grace holds on to things a little bit more, and she kind of let that go. And now that they've been like working together, Grace and the ex-wife have been working together to try to like prepare for the Shark Tank.
Yeah, I feel like
audition.
Grace
And-
could have easily been like me or her.
Exactly.
And she was so mature about it.
she really was.
Which I feel like is what you should do.
At that age, especially.
So you know what? This was the first time I didn't like Nick. I mean, it kind of made it like at first it made it seem like it was serious, but then
Yeah.
we found out it was over him being outbid for the Mavericks.
He has
Like,
more money than me.
it's
Are you
basically-
kidding me right now?
It was
Like
so
a penis
petty.
competition.
It was
Right,
so
the
petty.
bigger one.
And who has the bigger one is what it really boils down to.
It was like, I have more money, and it was
like, okay.
so childish and completely like it showed that Nick completely disregards Grace's feelings and Frankie's feelings, and it was not.
you know he don't care
It
nothing
was
about
not
no
cool.
Frankie's feelings. He probably
thinks
should
Frankie's
more of.
obnoxious.
He does. He's annoyed with her when he's just like, oh, Frankie's here. Big surprise. You know what I mean? She had to actually say, Grace had to say, okay, it was wonderful having you. You know that, but me and my husband are going to have dinner now. Well, that's fine. Eat the Indian food that neither one of you want that I made him order. Like, I don't care. I don't get to stay. Give me my food and I'll be out.
She's such a troublemaker.
She
love
is.
her.
I love her.
I want a Frankie.
I do want
Wait,
a
really
Frankie in
though?
my life.
Wait, do you
I'm
really?
scared. I'm
Yeah,
scared
she
about one.
Causes
I
a
want
lot
a
of
Frankie.
trouble, and she causes trouble, and she has a dummy. So
The
No.
dummy kills me.
Right? I would love a Frankie as a friend because I would be able to like circumvent her nonsense and I would just play into it when I wanted to be bothered with her.
yeah, I would want her artwork. I would want her to paint something
I
for
feel like
me.
I would never be bored.
Yeah, exactly. Ever. She's a freaking walking TV show.
Definitely. All right. Well, then we have in these 2 episodes we've been knowing that Robert wasted $20,000 of him and Saul's money.
Yes.
Well, he didn't see it as a waste, darling. It was an investment.
That
in a theater company.
oh my god, I can't. I would be pissed. Okay.
As you should be, but he
yes.
did not see that. But check this out. If it wasn't wrong, why didn't you come to him first, Robert, and explain?
Oh, he knew.
He knew it was wrong
Oh,
from
he knew
Jump
it was
Street.
wrong.
And how he thought that he was going to somehow be able to get this past him was ridiculous.
Yeah, and
you think this man don't check your balances at some point? That's just stupid.
And Saul wants to go on like this honeymoon trip, and you're gonna check your account and make sure you have enough.
Yeah, he's
And then
ridiculous.
it was again. It's interesting. A lot of these characters are making really poor decisions. Like Robert's doing. Robert took this money without asking, and when you're in a partnership like that, you have to talk about it. You have to
But
say,
they're
hey,
showing you don't, though, do you?
They're showing that it can get shady.
Right. It can get, I mean, that's what they keep doing. We talked about this in the last show, that there were 3 elements of them basically not being transparent with one another in their individual relationships with each other. And it all blew up in their faces at the end of the day. But that's what makes for good TV, right? Like, it wouldn't be funny if we didn't have the craziness.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, do we ever grow up?
How about that?
Imagine.
That's a good
Oh my-
question.
That's a great question, because these are some very immature decisions, even though
Yes.
these are some super mature people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
they're
they're
all-
pushing 80.
I'm
Well,
worried.
they're running businesses, and they're business people, and then
They're
lawyers,
homeowners. They're mature adults,
and they're
supposedly.
making some poor decisions.
Yeah, well, and trying to get the $20K back,
He's so stupid with that
I
damn
forget
lift.
what his theater person,
Company?
the teacher is, what his name
Oh,
is.
I love
the
him.
coordinator.
He's so annoying.
Well, he gives Robert the idea to
Right.
sell
the plots.
the grave,
The burial plots.
the burial plots that they just bought.
Right.
And he falls for it, and they set up a little stand near the plot that they bought, and they're just trying to sell it at the, like, what is it, at the graveyard?
Yes,
the
they are
cemetery.
literally at
At
the
the
cemetery
cemetery.
with a lemonade stand. Come on, it does not get better than that. Would
This
you like
is-
some juice?
This is like an ultimate comedic moment where you have Robert trying to sell his.
It
his
was too
plots. And by the
much.
way, those are so expensive, and
Are they? I don't know.
they
Yes, they are
are
super
And so people
expensive. And for
plan,
two
like,
of them?
for two of them, and people
Yeah, that takes like
have
weeks
to
and
get
weeks to
insurance
decide.
for them.
Exactly, it's a big
lot.
deal. It's a whole
And
thing.
I would be, if I was Saul, and obviously they like he finds out there's a muffin basket, that I would be so like, I'd be like, divorce.
No, but the
Like,
the best
done.
part had to have been the card table set up with the juice and him just standing there being like
my
all rah
God.
rah. There was literally supposed to be an open house. You don't have open house for burial.
And when he's
plots.
like, "Oh, the neighbors are very quiet," I'm like, "Oh my god, I
But that's
couldn't."
that's like ultimate like cemetery, jokes. It's
No,
like-
yeah, definitely. He's like, "Oh, it's a
like, oh,
beautiful
gosh.
like scenery that you have here. The neighbors are quiet." I'm like, "Of course they're quiet. They're dead. What do you mean?"
yeah, it was great. It
Yeah.
was great. I love that part.
Oh goodness.
If you, I think one of you already answered. If you were Saul, would you be pissed?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it goes without question. And then the
100%.
revenge buying too. That's cute initially, boo boo. But we can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I get that you're mad at me, but rent is still due. So you're not about to just dig into our pockets again and again and again just to get back at me. You better figure out some other kind of way for revenge because
Yeah.
we have stuff to take care of. Like we still got to go on this trip, Booski. And even if we don't make the trip, we still got to pay a mortgage. I believe my phone bill is due. I need to go shop for some new shoes. You're not about to just spend all our money because you're mad at me for spending all our money.
Well, he did.
I know, but
yeah.
that's not the answer. It's just to
Well,
put
but
us in
Saul-
debt.
But Saul's like trying to like
Teach him a
teach
lesson.
One
him
up
a lesson
him.
by saying, "Look, I can
but
go
you
and
both
get an
will,
item."
but you'll both burn as a result of you teaching me the lesson. We're both in the poorhouse now.
Yeah, but Saul's trying to like get revenge and say, like,
Find another
"Hey,
way."
I can have a midlife crisis and
Yeah,
It's
go
like
become a
rich people
stripper.
buy a
problems.
motorcycle."
Go become a stripper. That'll get me back. I mean, figure something else out. Just leave the money part alone.
I get like why you guys would like if you guys were so why you would be pissed. I think I would have been like, okay, like you messed up, but you got it back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, whatever.
But he didn't get it back.
Yeah, he did with the
At the result of them selling, they have to die if they're in their 80s, girl. They need that plot.
Look, I agreed with the coordinator
got the money
when
back,
he
but
said
they're-
either you will die first and he will be really
Right.
pissed at you, but you'll be dead,
Or
you'll
he'll die first and he'll
take
never
care of it.
know.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have like life insurance policies, so one of them will die, they'll use it.
If
it's
they're
fine.
smart enough to get burial plots ahead of time, they definitely have life insurance policies.
They're fine. That's why I'm just like, I doubt it's that big of a deal. I think in the moment, like maybe the $20,000 being missing seems like inconvenient.
It's a big
they're gonna
deal,
they're gonna
Mama.
get it back. No,
well,
I
yeah,
know.
but it's a big deal.
Oh,
but you're right. It
I've
does
also
take
never shared finances with anyone, so I'm speaking very. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys.
We do. Without you, there is no us. So that is important.
Facts. All right. So last episodes, the last couple episodes we did on Tuesday, I had said that Barry's gonna get fed up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only so much that you can put up with until you're like, I deserve more than this.
Girl, yes.
And then we finally see him do it.
Hey, but can I just interject real quick?
Yes,
Let's be clear.
Yes.
He knew this woman long before he decided to move forward with an actual relationship. He knew who she was, and I think he thought it was cute. He thought it was quirky. He thought all the things that men say about me prior to being in a relationship, and then they go, oh my God, I bit off way more than I could chew. It was cute when you cussed her out, but now that you cussing me out, I don't want no parts. That is exactly what I think happened. He thought it was cute from the outside looking in, and I can make this work. I'm a pretty go with the flow kind of guy. I don't get, too riled up. I always have a smile on my face. I have a positive outlook. And then you get with a woman that is genuinely the polar opposite of you, that nothing comes out of her mouth. It has anything to do with anyone but her. She's a narcissist. She's a smart ass. She is just mean. She can be very vile.
I agree.
And so he thought going in that somehow, I don't think he thought he could change her. I just think that he thought that, I'm Teflon Don. I'll take it on the chin and keep it moving. And after a while, He sees
gets
it wears
old.
on you. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, Barry is such a sweet guy. He's
Yeah.
put up with so much with Brianna. You know, I really do think he loves the whole family dynamic. He's supported her, like, career-wise and then also personally. And I'm so proud of Barry that he finally
Stood his ground.
and said, you know what? You didn't even consider, that I would be a part of your future life.
That's right.
And that is a hard decision to come to. And so I'm so glad Barry finally did it.
I agree. And then when she ends up setting up that whole, it looked like a backyard thing.
Yeah.
I could not believe it.
I was
and then she has
surprised
to
too.
kind of ruin it and be like, oh, it's a fake proposal.
I
I'm like,
know.
girl, you just said let's be engaged forever. That is married.
Exactly. So just say that.
It's like,
just say that. Don't
yes.
throw that last part in to just kind of kick him when he's down. You got on one knee. You actually physically did something to show him that I am separating myself from my old self. I am literally, allowing myself to be vulnerable. And if you say no, it's going to kill me. You know that. So
Yeah.
I usually don't set myself up like this so I can't get hurt.
What I liked is that Brianna stepped out of her comfort zone, because she, in previous episodes, she had that conversation with Mallory about how she's like, it has trouble confessing her feelings or like saying nice things. And so the fact that she did this was a huge step in the right direction. And I'm going to do a little prediction here.
Go right
And
ahead,
I
girl.
think that it's going to turn into a real wedding. And I think it's going to happen in season 7. Because I think Brianna is going to
Really?
grow, and I think they're gonna get married.
I don't even think it'll be a growth thing. I think that Brianna
I
finds
think
it very...
she's gonna realize it.
I just think that, yes, realization will come. I just don't choose the word growth very often with her, because she isn't aware. Like, it would take a whole lot of self-awareness. And that is unfortunately what happens when you're so consumed with everything outside of you. There's no inner growth with her. There's always moving forward with outside stuff. A bigger house, a better job, the bigger, a better car, whatever. 20 grand in her savings, but not, not the internal stuff that makes you like genuinely a good person. Yeah. I don't think she knows what that means, but having Barry at her side, she doesn't want to lose it, because that is a good person. He's genuinely a good people. And she sees what that can do for you, like as a human being.
Well,
it's rubbing off.
Barry brings out the good qualities in her, and I know she can be a little rough around the edges.
A little.
A little rough.
A lot.
A lot rough. So I feel like he kind of like tempers that and kind of mellows her a little bit. And the one thing story-wise is I would have loved to have seen Brianna actually realize like how much she misses Barry a little bit more, where I felt like they rushed it a little bit to the season finale, where they're like, okay, she's going to come to realize this soon. But I feel like it could have been drawn out a little bit more, where she realizes like how much she really does love him.
But she's a brat. She wants what she wants when she wants it.
It's crazy to me that not once do you see her cry.
Oh,
Ever.
no.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what?
No, she did cry
on the
when they
couch for a little
hugged.
bit.
When they hugged at the end, and he was like, "One of us is gonna cry before I leave this office," and
I
he
did
thought
not
it was
see a
gonna be
tear,
him.
girl.
She was crying real tears, baby.
must have missed
girl,
that.
yeah, it was a big deal.
Because when I
was a
cry,
moment.
it's a
You
completely
know
different face. You cannot miss that. Like, you
Right,
were
they were still hugged up, and he was like, "One of us is gonna cry before I leave the office," and then she was just like,
When I'm crying, it's like full ugly face.
That was a cute cry then.
It was
a cute
It was
cry.
a cute cry. She had her makeup, her wings was done, girl. She wasn't trying to mess that up. But she definitely was crying. And I thought that was a big step in her. Like, what? You allowed yourself to let tears fall, girl? That's a big
Gross.
She
deal.
actually cried. She has tear ducts.
You're right. That was growth, whether she wanted it to be or not.
Exactly.
Involuntarily.
I feel like the only way she will grow is sticking with Barry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
nobody else can get through to her ass.
And Barry is the man.
She don't listen to her mama.
Barry can be so honest.
She don't listen to her. Her own sister tried to get another job and literally led her astray from herself just so she wouldn't have to have the confrontation. That's how much I really don't want to be around you. I'm trying to get another job to move away from you. And she's like, oh, it was you?
If you get, well, then later, when toward the end of the episode, when they're like sitting on the couch being lovey-dovey,
Yes.
we see Mallory come in and she announces like, I took the job that they offered you, so now I'm your
boss.
supervisor.
Yes, that was the best.
I am so happy for Mallory because she took it. She was like, you know what? I had my she previously applied for a job. She didn't get it. And she's had to put up with Brianna's
For so long.
of her insulting her and beating her up emotionally. And I am so happy for Mallory. And this is going to be good. I wonder how much she'll be involved in season 7 because if she's moving
If she's in
to
San Fran.
San Francisco, I wonder how much she'll be around. And
I think they'll probably just do shots of her in San Francisco. I mean, it's not like it's a reality show where they have to actually film. You know what I mean? She could be in the next studio over and just make her in San Francisco. But I think she'll still probably be a prominent part. And I could be wrong, but I just think that because the relationship between her and Brianna the dynamic has changed so much. Yeah. Now that she's her boss, are you kidding me? They're going to need to have like those comedic moments where she's just like, did you get that paperwork? I told you to have that into me by 3. And Brianna's just like,
this might humble her.
Yeah.
Maybe.
A little bit.
Maybe.
Or
maybe she'll find a different job. Maybe she wants to do something else. I don't know. But she loves Say Grace. So
yeah, she does.
I can't see her moving away from that.
I wish we knew how much they got paid for the company.
I know that number.
That's what we were talking about. I was like, okay, she said that way too quickly, accepted that offer. It probably is in the millions.
It has to be in the millions.
Yeah.
It better be in the millions for her to be like, okay.
They probably split it 3 ways or 2 ways or 3 ways.
Well, even then, I wouldn't even care for my supervisor. Just give me the check.
If she said one bill, that would completely make sense because that's split between 3 people, 3 prominent people
I don't
in
think
the company.
it would be in the billions.
I mean, like one bill, I guess is all I'm saying. Like one bill.
That's a lot of money.
I guess. No, you're right. Like 50 mil makes okay. All right. I'm being greedy. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 2020 money.
I think it's like 10
million?
10 to 15 million. Yeah.
I would guess
it depends
50.
on how many products they have and equity into it. Like, it gets complicated.
It's been there for years. It's been established since forever.
Maybe.
Who knows? Probably
We're all like, we want to see the money.
Whatever it
we want to
was,
know.
it was nice.
It was nice, right? It was nice enough for her to be like, thanks. We'll take it.
I would do it.
Mallory doesn't have a man anymore, so at least Mallory can just have a better job. And
Yes.
Brianna has everything at the
Mallory,
moment. So
Mallory's gonna put all of her focus into the job, which
and
is
her
great.
babies.
Do not get a weirdo. Do not date Dan.
I know. I'm happy for her. I feel
I'm
like
super
she
happy
needed
for her.
something positive.
She did.
And
Yeah,
I thought
definitely.
Dan was going to be that, and
Oh,
then
God.
he
He was
turned
such
out
a
to be a
cornball.
lunatic.
Yes.
Tell me why I thought that was cute at first. Like, oh, he's corny. He likes everything. He follows her around.
Nope.
Like, no, that's not cute.
That's never cute, ever. If a man lied to me and was just like, yes, my favorite rapper is, because he found out maybe I love hip hop, I would throw stuff out just to see his response. You know what I mean? You know, I'm a hip hop head, right? Like, I'm down with the Wu from the day one, and Jam Master Flash used to be my mans and them. And then he would come back and like do all this research and come back and tell me. And then the next day I'd be like, oh, you believed me? Are you kidding me? I'm a Katy Perry fanatic. And just watch his face melt.
I really wanted I wanted Brianna to bring a short rib to the proposal.
Oh, that would have been epic.
That would have been epic.
I was thinking
That
about
would have
that.
been
I was like,
epic.
that would have been adorable.
That would have been really epic. You're right. That would have been so cute.
Yeah, that would have, better than a ring for him, I
right?
feel.
Like, here's your short rib.
That you never got.
Right. They took it from you, baby.
Well, at the end of this season, we see the ultimate, I feel like the ultimate plot twist for me, which was Nick. So they're apologizing to each other. He's like, I get that Frankie's like a big part of your life. I don't want to mess that up. Sometimes when you hold the truth for so long, it gets harder to say it. So once he said that, I was like, this is going a little left.
Exactly.
Like,
it was the setup. It was
I
the
was
setup.
like, okay, it's
And
not
he
that
was like
serious.
on the phone. He was kind of like
Yeah, it was weird.
hiding.
And then the cops come in. Tell me why I think this is like their role playing. I didn't think it was serious.
No, I thought it was. You know why it wasn't serious? Because they really didn't like hype the realities of what we were talking about that prior to the show. Like, why didn't anybody like ransack the apartment? Why didn't they look through safes? Why didn't they? Because it's a TV show and it's a comedic TV show.
I
So
feel
it's
like
almost like with Orange is the New Black. You know what I mean? That's not
yeah.
real
Yeah.
jail.
Prison, yeah.
You understand that it goes with the like, yeah, we got to shut it down at certain times and you only get fed this kind of food. So they go through the motions, but they're not going to make it like hardcore.
The way I felt, it was like kind of like a comedic ending to, you know, like comedic arrest, you know?
He was calling the cop by her first name, Catherine. I was like, I don't think this is how it goes down.
Yeah, no. Like, I thought they would, like, have a search warrant and say, okay, we're going to take you in and then also look into your apartment. Like, I felt like that
They should have found that money.
They should have found
That's why
that money.
it was good TV. Because you know damn well it's a TV show.
But
But the
what's-
fact that he dropped that gem at the end.
Yeah, so he gave her, like, the code message, and then she, like, finds the cash. But what's interesting is when that moment happened, I remembered some one-liners that had been
he
placed
would say.
that he's been saying that
Throughout
his
the whole
ex-wife-
time.
that his ex-wife was saying like, oh yeah, they were talking about like tax evasion and all this stuff that I kind of like blew off and kind of didn't have a second thought to, but that now it all made sense that she, you know, Nick mentioned that his ex-wife kind of saves him from kind of getting in trouble and keeping him on track.
Well, that's what she said. And I remember thinking to myself,
she
okay,
said
make
that,
a
yeah.
mental note. Because she was like, if it were not for me, he would be in trouble so many times over.
So like,
let's be clear.
she's in it too. And so
Yeah,
I'm
she
interested to
is.
see how intricate this whole plot is.
Because even as they're taking him away, he says, "Call Miriam. She'll know what to do."
That's
Exactly,
right. Every time
exactly.
he always
That's
goes to Miriam because he
crazy.
knows that not only does she have his back, but she had his kid. But no, she knows what's going on. You know what I mean? And she knows which like hoops to jump through in order to make it okay. I'm surprised Miriam is not the next to be locked up. If she's the go-to person,
Oh,
clearly.
she has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, she has to be. She's like has the key to the castle,
Right.
And she's gonna know where all the books are. She's gonna know where all the, the transactions are,
cookbooks.
where all the Cayman Islands, where all the stuff in the, outside of the country. Like I think season 7 is gonna get really gritty.
Well, 16 episodes. They're gonna have to
Yeah.
pack it in.
I can't wait.
If you were Grace, would you stay with Nick throughout this process? Because he says before he leaves, "Don't give up on me, Grace. I love you."
I don't know. That's a tough one because she was already contemplating divorce prior to. She was like, I literally did it again. I spent 20 years with the man where I literally morphed into the wife that he needed me to be, and I was not my true self.
Herself.
And here we go again. And I thought going into this, I understood what the pitfalls of my last marriage were, so I didn't want to fall prey to any of that nonsense this time around. But now that I'm in it, I'm seeing I'm doing the exact same thing that I did before. And so do I really want to do this? Like, can I be like cool with this guy and not be married to him? Not have, but there again, but that's your fault, my love. You know what I mean? No shade, no tea,
Amen,
but
no.
these are choices you're making. When you got with this man, you knew what it was all about. You told him no 1,000 times because you knew you didn't want to be that person. And now you're becoming that person. So is it really Nick's fault that you've fallen into this? Or do you need to look in the mirror? I think it's more about Grace being honest with herself.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
I agree with that Grace loses herself when she's in relationships with men, and she hasn't. I mean, she even sometimes loses herself when she's with Frankie,
Frankie,
too.
she does. She does.
So I feel like she needs to find time for herself. It doesn't mean that she can't support Nick in whatever he's going through, but she needs to really seriously think about what she wants for like the remaining years of her life, because she only has so much, and think about what's best for her family and what's best for her business, and really do something that's truly just for herself. And like, I think it's okay for her to be slightly selfish and say, hey, I need to be the best person I can be
For
and
me.
live my best life
Yes.
for me and not for anyone else.
Yeah, because everybody else is doing it. That's not slightly selfish. It's not selfish at all. If everybody else is living their best life and being the best versions of themselves, her son included, we just talked about how dope it was that Coyote is coming to terms with himself and becoming, a really awesome adult. What the hell? You've been an adult for a minute, mama.
I think it's just, I think inevitably when you're with any like friendship, relationship, you kind of morph into that person.
You kind of do.
Without, it's just inevitable. But I think it's a matter of holding your ground on what really matters to you.
That's right.
I don't think it's a matter of losing yourself or feeling like you can be your true self. It's just standing up for what you think is right and being selfish when it's necessary to be selfish.
That's right.
Because you can't be selfish all the time.
And you can't be all in with the other person all the time either.
So it's
There's
like
a
a happy
balance, a
medium.
healthy balance. Exactly.
Well, Grace,
I wish that for her.
We just figured your life out for you.
You're welcome. Okay? You'll tell us to thank you later on. We expect to hear back from all the creators of the show.
We want to know.
Well, my last and final question for all of you ladies is, do we see, so at the end, at the very, very end,
Yeah.
we see that everyone's going to be roomies now.
That was crazy.
Do we think that's going to go over well?
I like that setup too. I thought that was kind of cute how they made it their fault that they're now homeless.
Yes.
And that they don't have the money to take care of this ridiculous flood. This is going to be beyond cute. Like, I cannot wait because just, first of all, she's been there by herself. Frankie has been there by herself now
while.
for a minute,
while,
right?
yeah.
So the fact that now Grace, there has to be some
my
rules,
gosh.
some major setups.
I think it's going to be an ultimate, like, this is like the best way to
It
end
is.
the best way to end the series
yeah.
is to like start it out with the 4 of them all together in one place.
The way it started.
Yeah, exactly.
At that
Exactly.
dinner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At that
So
dinner
it's
long
gonna
ago.
It's going to come full circle, but I feel like all 4 of them have grown into very different people. And so it's going to be interesting how they all kind of interact with each other.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be interesting. It's a very good word, but funny.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
wait.
I can already see the shenanigans.
It's gonna be wild.
Come on, babe.
for
Come take a
sure.
shower with me. Well, you know the girls are home. It doesn't matter. And then before you know it, I don't even know, a TV crew comes in the bathroom. I didn't think you guys were going to be home. Freaking hilarious.
It's gonna be insane. I know it for sure.
Yep.
Before we close out, let's say our last moment of grace, our special segment for everyone.
Yes.
Who wants to start it off?
Well, we have a moment of grace. If you want me to talk about that a little bit as well before we do that. Do we have enough time?
Go right ahead.
Oh, it's up to you. Whatever you guys
go
want to do.
ahead.
All right, so real quick, I just wanted to talk about, I love the interaction of the pissing or bidding war, whichever one you choose to call it, between Michael McKean, and you probably remember him as Jack on the show. And before that, he was Better Call Saul. He was in that. And a lot of people remember him also from I can't think of the name of the show. He does something else that everyone loves. Anyway, he's great. He's a great actor. You see him all the time. This is the third episode. This is the third episode of the 6th season. Did you know that both of these guys were former alums of SNL? I did not know
wow, I
that.
didn't know that
So
either.
yeah, Michael McKean was on SNL, and obviously as was Lily Tomlin. The bidding war goes on at the silent auction that Nick drags that Grace to, and of course by him dragging her, then she drags Frankie, and she cannot believe that someone has bid on Jerry Garcia's beat up, funky, nasty Converse.
Deadheads are
right.
wild.
Deadheads are
Deadheads are wild. They're gonna
crazy.
take it.
Right. So she bids. He comes back, and then she finally addresses him, approaches him like, "Listen, buddy, those are mine." And the back and forth. I mean, the writing on this show is just. It is superb. The one-liners, as you said, the zingers back and forth, and then they get into this whole, well, were you there when this happened, and were you there? So 1991, Madison Square Garden, they did 9 shows. They speak about that a lot. Shout outs to Madison Square Garden and the fact that they were there. But you know what I thought was really dope? There was a 1971 performance at the Capitol Theater, and the Capitol Theater recently re-showed the episode of Grace and Frankie in homage to the Deadhead performance that happened back then, because they thought that was just such a great throwback. So it was super cute to watch, and I love to really they're legends in their field, in comedic and just acting in general, going at it head to head. It was fun.
I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cute.
All right. Well, we're going to finish off with that, ladies.
Yeah.
That'll be our
sounds
ultimate
good.
moment of grace for the season finale.
I know. I'm sad it's all done.
I know, it went by so fast.
I know. I
right?
want it to be next year so we can watch a whole nother season.
We have to wait a whole year for this.
I know.
Yeah, maybe even more. I feel like Frankie and Grace took a long time coming back from the last season.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. I feel like it took a while.
They probably have a lot of commitments amongst all of them
do.
now that they've been doing this for a while.
And busy getting arrested.
That might have something to do with it.
Fighting. They're activists.
I am
big
not mad
activists.
at that. She moved to my hometown of DC just so that she could do this every Friday.
Oh, I
It's
know,
pretty
she's
impressive.
amazing.
It
Yes.
is awesome.
They've
She's
been
so,
all over the place with this.
Yeah, she's so cool. She
yeah,
really
definitely. Well, until next time,
Mm-hmm.
where can everybody find you, ladies?
You go first.
My name is Kitty Kaboom, like you could forget that, baby. KITTIEKABOOM on Instagram. Check me out.
Awesome. And you can find me on all social media platforms at Emily May, M-A-E, Heller.
And you can find me on Instagram at Carla Alcontreras and Twitter at Carla_C. See you later, everyone. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principal.